What is up? What's going on? What's happening, YouTube?
The Mechanics.
So I've made the conscious decision to get off of Call of Duty and at least apply, if I can, 30 minutes a day to working on my cars. Now, is it going good? I mean, it's going decent. I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna have 30 minutes or something to do every day for 30 minutes to my cars, but the 240 needs a lot of work. So as long as I'm coming this way or I have an hour to spare, I need to do something to it. So Mustang, don't lose it now. Went around that corner kind of fast. With further ado, if you guys haven't seen the thumbnail, I'm gonna go ahead and get cracking on my dash. So the first day that I decided to do this, I started taking the bolts off the dash. The second day, I started taking off the wires, the center console, the switch panel that I installed. I started doing that. So it took a fairly long amount of time to get it done, but it's done and it's out. So this is how the dash is now. If you guys can see, it's not great. It's in terrible condition. So this is probably gonna be one of my bigger areas. This is how brittle it is. These dashes are not great. For the most part, everything past here is decent, so I won't have to do any repairs down here, but we are going to go ahead and get it cracking and try to get this fixed. Now, since I do plan on doing at least 30 minutes a day on my cars if I'm coming this way, that means there's going to be more content, for one. Two, I'm not necessarily sure if it's going to be a whole lot of content, but it's going to be content. So for today, I'm going to try to repair this dash. Prep it, get it ready for flock, because we're flocking it. Try to get it prepped, all the cracks filled and everything, so it looks real decent, one solid color. And then there's gonna be another video of me actually flocking it. So to give you an idea, that's how I'm gonna do it. This video is gonna be prepped, the next video is gonna be actually flocking it. So what we have is a whole bunch of cracks. Now, in order to fill these cracks, what I'm gonna do is body work. I'm gonna shave these down, if you guys can see, because this is a little bit raised. So I wanna get this as flat as possible. And then I'm gonna fill all this with Bondo. And then we're gonna do a Mr. Primer over it, so it's a solid black color. And then we're gonna be ready for flock. Now, there's actually several ways of repairing a dash. I could just order an expensively, I don't know if expensively is a word. I could just order an expensive uncracked dash, or if I got lucky enough, find someone selling it for the low. But the chances of that happening are unlikely, so what I'm gonna do is flock it. Flocking it is one way. I think they sell caps that go over that original dash that is just like, kind of like a dash mat, but it's out of plastic. If I wanted to, I could fiberglass the dash, but that's gonna be way too fancy for this car. Basically, you would do the same process, body work, and then you'd put a film of fiberglass, then you put fiberglass mat, then you put fiberglass resin, then you put fiberglass resin again, then you sand it down, and now it's ready for actual body work, or body paint, or however you paint it, and that's how you get, you know, a fiberglass dash. I guarantee you it wouldn't crack if it was fiberglass. But the way I'm doing it is I'm going to flock it. I think that'd be perfect for the steez of the car, and it should look really nice when I'm done. That's the plan.
A few moments later.
So what we got here is our basic from AutoZone. Here's a hardener, stirring it up a little bit. So if you guys don't know how this works, stir it up, and for every, let's say, golf ball size, you want to put a little dab of hardener in it, and then that'll give you your optimum time of drying, which is like 20 to 30 minutes. But I don't have that much time, so what I end up doing is just adding a whole bunch of hardener and trying to go as fast as possible. Use it at your discretion. If you don't think that you're gonna lay enough or have enough time, do what's recommended. You can even do less, it'll just take more time. Work in the sun, it'll help it dry. If you did it in a cold area, like say inside the garage, it'll take longer to dry. So if you guys want, I mean, I'm gonna cake it on and then try to get over there as fast as possible. So my idea is to get my board, and what I want to do is large strokes, try to get as much as possible, try to go over everything as fast as I can to fill in most of these cracks, and go from there. You know, try to get it in the crack as much as possible, and then tackle these little guys down here. But this one right here is going to need a lot. Let's see, and then over here is going to need a lot. So instead of just trying to fill in these gaps, I'm just going to lay a whole bunch of body filler over everything and try to get it before it dries. So with all that I just made, I caked on as much as possible, as quick as possible. That way I just have a base map of where I actually need to add. Now it's already dried. Like I did this side, and by the time I was done with this side over here, it was already in this state. So rule of thumb, the darker it is, the faster it's gonna dry. At this point right now, I'm at this, like, it's hard, but you know, you take off the bulk. That way it's less sanding. I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes to dry, and then I'm gonna go ahead and start taking a 60 grit sandpaper to it and trying to knock damn near all of this down to where you basically see the cracks. Palm sander, of course. I'm gonna do that and I'm gonna cut y'all back on. All right, so this is how we're looking right now. Like I said, I tried to cake on as much surface area as possible and then went ahead and cut it down. Most of this stuff, like if it's over here, is cool. Like all this right here is straight up until right here. So now it's time to chase these little pieces. This whole area didn't get caught, but most of the surface area, most of this got caught. Spaces like this I want to get, like this, like this. So I'm gonna cook up another batch. All these, this right here, I'm gonna cook up another batch, and I'm gonna go ahead and use a smaller scraper and try to get like this area right here. And then this time when I sand it, I'm only gonna make sure that, you know, this piece right here is sanded. So it's gonna, you're gonna see a lot more of this, but like I said, all this is smooth. So, and it's texture, so it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be 600 grit, but you know, you want to cut it down, you want to make it look nice. So we're gonna do the best we can. I'm expecting at least 2 more coats, probably. A lot of sanding, so let me go ahead and get cracking on that. All right, so here we have it. We're finished. All the prep is done. As you can see, there's no more cracks at the top. There's no more cracks down here. It's a little wet still, but as you could see, no more cracks. All the cracks are covered. And she's prepped. Now all I have to do is clean it, wipe it down real good, and we can start the flock process. Booyah. Booyah. Get a good look. Get a good look. So in total, what I did was I sanded down the cracks. I put about 3, I think, maybe 4 coats of Bondo on top. I went ahead and went over it with the palm sander and a straight edge, or whatever they're called, a block sanded it with 60 grit and I think 40 grit to knock down the higher spots. On the 3rd and 4th coat, what I did was I went ahead and went with a lighter sandpaper, so I think I went up to 150 grit, and that worked. The 150 grit worked great. Got it all smooth. I was actually more impressed by the fact that the whole dash was smooth and not just the areas that I filled in. So really happy how that turned out. I ended up going up to 220 grit. I didn't want to go too soft or anything like that, so the primer, the black primer, wouldn't stick. So tomorrow what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to clean it real good, and then I'm gonna hit it with a mist of black primer over the whole thing. That way it's not a different shade of color underneath, because the whole top is black. The actual dash is like an off gray or whatever. Spray the whole thing, mist it, try to get it one unison solid color. I don't know if I'm gonna do the sides. I probably will do the sides. And hopefully this is a shorter process, because this took I think I started at 4, so it took about 3-ish hours. Great. I'm so happy how this turned out. I can't wait to get this dash back in. If you wanted to do the same process and just paint the dash, I'm not mad at you. I would not be mad at you at all, but we're actually flocking it, so flocking that and the center console. So this is gonna wrap up this video. This vlog is done. It's over. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna take a shower. Okay, so part 1 done. Like, comment, subscribe. Okay, come back. This being said, peace. I'm gone.
The Mechanics.